Biden said, come on in. Come on, 1 million people, you come in. And Trump said, no, no, no. By the way, the parole is being revoked, and you're subject to deportation if you don't leave within 30 days. The courts really failed President Trump and the American people. Really, they have largely since, certainly most apparently during the 2020 election. And they just let President Trump's rights be railroaded in so many ways since then. The Supreme Court finally stepped in to stop the worst of the abuse and provide some immunity protection. But Trump is still under criminal indictment in Fulton County, Georgia, as a result of that corrupt prosecutor Fani Willis's operation. He was abused up in New York with that sham conviction. Letitia James trying to destroy his business. Supreme Court hasn't done anything to stop that. And now that Trump the reformer is doing so much great work, he's being thwarted at every possible corner by the anti-Trump judiciary. The abusers of power, I call them part of the judicial coup. And it's again happening this week. We had this Court of International Trade. You probably never heard of it before, but it's a powerful court when it comes to trade matters in the United States. They issued a radical decision that essentially tore from the president any and all power he had to declare an emergency in order to impose tariffs, a law that he was following to the letter as passed by Congress. And here's a tweet I wrote about it. In one fell swoop, a federal judicial panel effectively erased the president's ability to declare any emergency in order to impose tariffs under federal law. And thankfully, an appellate court put a stay on that, disrupted the entire world economic system. I mean, this is what the court said. You think fentanyl's an emergency? Oh, no, we don't think it's an emergency. You think the invasion's an emergency? Oh, no, we don't think it's an emergency. You think having certain businesses or areas of the economy be protected from being controlled by hostile foreign interests is an emergency? No, we don't think that's an emergency. Do you think courts are have any basis to second guess the president's decisions in that regard? I don't. And you've had courts intervene to stop the president from protecting Americans from foreign nationals who want to enter the country without sufficient vetting. That's the whole fight about whether foreign students get to come into the United States without sufficient vetting. And then you had a court decision, I think it was out of Massachusetts, where Biden had used so-called parole authority to grant amnesty effectively for at least 2 years, effectively forever, to 500, I think the number now is 530,000 foreign nationals from 4 different countries. It was Cuba, Venezuela, I forget the other 2, maybe Nicaragua and a 4th country. 530,000, I think the number now is. So Biden could bring in 500,000 people contrary to law. Parole essentially allows an agent allows the president or his designee to say, hey, this person deserves to come in for, we're going to let him in for a few years and waive the law, essentially. And it requires a person-by-person analysis, a case-by-case analysis. It's not designed to just allow entire swaths of a foreign nation to enter the United States. So one of the first things Trump did was sign an executive order, and it was implemented by his Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, to reverse the Biden parole. And this parole and other similar actions, I think it's nearly 900, nearly 1 million people have come in under that, essentially shepherded in under that invasion authorized by Trump. I mean, this wasn't authorized by Biden. These weren't people who scurried across the border. Biden said, come on in. Come on, 1 million people, you come in. And Trump said, no, no, no. By the way, the parole is being revoked, and you're subject to deportation if you don't leave within 30 days. And thankfully, the Supreme Court overturned the anti-Trump activist court ruling below. And here's a tweet I had on it just today. Judicial coup reversal. Supreme Court stays anti-Trump judge's decision to stop his reversal of Biden's parole amnesty for 500,000 aliens. As I said, it's more than that. It's now 530, according to the most recent reports. Mass deportations can proceed as planned. Justice Jackson writes dissent, which was joined by Justice Sotomayor, but was not joined by Justice Kagan. So even Justice Kagan agrees with me and the majority of conservatives. So it was a 7-2 decision. So that's good news. I mean, the court has kind of enabled a lot of this abuse at the lower level, and it's very disruptive to our constitutional system. It's placing people at risk. It's placing citizens at risk. It's placing deportees at risk. It's placing law enforcement at risk. It's placing you at risk. So I'm going to applaud the Supreme Court when they get it right, and I'm going to encourage the Supreme Court to get on board and defer to the president, as the Constitution requires, and protecting the nation from this foreign invasion by reversing it in a quick way. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.